My name is Roel Twijnstra and I'm a theater director, originally from the Netherlands. I'm a set designer, writer. This year I'm here with a show, Madonna of Excelsior. It was selected for the main program here. It's for the first since the 90s that a show of Barkov's is part of the main.
Dear Father, Mr. Cormier, dear Father in heaven, I don't know who you are. Do you even know me?
The whole novel is actually the story about this colored girl that in the 90s wants to trace back where she comes from, who her father is, and doesn't know about the past, and her mother doesn't want to talk about it.
Stop it, Vicky! I'm sick of this! I'm sick of you! I'm sick of your lies! No, don't talk like that! You don't understand you! And you don't understand the truth! No, Bobby, please!
We went to Excelsior with the whole cast, to the village, very close to the border of Lesotho, and those characters are still there. That butchery is still owned by the family, and they know about this guy who killed himself. And sometimes at night you can see him in the garden, they say. That story is still there. Those characters, Poppy, the girl we were talking about, who wants to find out, she is a counselor still in the council of Excelsior. So the first black mayor that's played by Paul Lovingo, he still lives there in Excelsior. So all these characters and this history is still there, and people still don't like to talk about it. They don't like to talk about it. You still feel when you are there, actually when you go there, you walk in the novel. You walk into the novel and you realize nothing changed.
She had admitted that she had had an affair with a certain white man.
Correction, men, lots of men.
She had, however, added that she hasn't been the only non-white woman who have been doing this, so she mentioned others. As a result of this, 7 white men and 14 non-white women had been arrested.
This group of women who were very brave because they were brought to prison with their babies, with their colored babies, and they decided to plead guilty. So I imagine that them in 1971, it's 14 girls being in that prison with their babies and talking to each other, said, no, we just plead guilty. We are guilty of having a baby.
And his job was to take blood tests and to confirm that indeed the blood was mixed. Mixed with the right! We all wondered. Surely all blood was red. One by one.
From a group of women in that time, in a prison cell, is enormously brave to make that stand, and that actually shook the whole apartheid's nation on its foundation, because I still remember the whole world was watching that. There were camera teams from everywhere over the world coming to Excelsior, coming to Bloemfontein for that court case, and then only a few hours before it would take place, it was postponed because the embarrassment was too big, the embarrassment for the government at that time. So they postponed it, and that was the end. But it was just these few days that the whole world looked to this very small village. And it's funny because here, of course, it wasn't in the news. In South Africa, people don't know, because at that time, of course, it was not. It was censored and it was not on the news. It's weird to see that you think, wow, South Africa moved on, and I think in a lot of places in the big cities it is like that, but in towns like that, nothing moved on, and you feel nothing will move on.
My name is Diana Masego, and I play the role of Poppy Boo. Poppy is a third girl. Her mother's black, her mother's Nikipule, and father is a brewer, is a white man. She isolated herself from everyone, from the world, from everyone, even the family, even in the house. She was always in a room. She'd lock herself up in a room. She couldn't talk to anyone because it was eating her inside. Because even when in the school that she went to, it was always Poppy, 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 the colored child. So to her, it was very emotional. It was very painful. It was traumatic. It was an abuse, actually. I would say it was just emotional abuse.
Because he was guilty all the time. No, please. Guilty that I was born white. Guilty that you used my violence to punish his wife. No, please. Guilty that you roasted me like a piece of meat over the fire.
There was something she didn't understood, that there was something missing, and it's one of these talented young women who work hard, who achieve a lot, but there's something inside, you know, what's going on? And when finally that's unveiled, this tears come out, and I think you have to wash your past with your tears. You have to be able to release that unfinished sadness, that pain from the past.
You can let it out now. She's a beautiful woman. Joelle, Joelle, oh, sipe amada.
So I think it's very important for her identity, for her personal identity, not linked to being colored, but just to who she is as a person.
My name is Nick Beekes. I played the role of Chart Cronje.
It's just you and me now, Poppy. Come on, baby, I know it's what you want. It runs in your family.
Chart is Poppy's half-brother. But of course, he keeps this a secret from her because Chart blames his father for all the suffering he did because his father slept with a black woman against the laws there at that time. So in his eyes, he blames Poppy.
I'm not fighting, Poppy. I don't fight with ladies.
He's got this very vendetta, trying to break Poppy down, always because he wants her to feel that hurt that he feels as an only child, and her as well because she never knew her real father.
I have seen your mother naked. She was the sexiest woman I have ever seen.
Lift your arms, Nikki.
And the end of the play, when she resurrects him, I do Stephanus Cronje, Chart's father, and Poppy's father. He sees his son die of a heart attack. So he just wants Poppy, all this conflict to end. He just wants the truth to come out. And finally, of course, getting his say. After committing suicide, like I said, he acted out of fear. And for him, this is the one time now to get the message across, not only for the last of his generation, the last of his bloodline, is now Poppy, the only person that can carry his name further. So now he wants her to know the truth. He wants everyone to know that he was afraid.
You see, Poppy, love wasn't allowed in those days. Not between a white man and a black woman. All the laws told us that we were strangers, enemies. Besides, I think I would have been too afraid to love your mother. It was easier to desire her, to be obsessed with her body.
Don't listen to him, Bobby.
What black people say, we forgive and we continue, is a politically correct lie, because there's still so much unresolved emotions, stories, business, anger, and you can't just move on. It'll come out now or in the future or whatever. You can't just say we forgive and we move on. And that's so interesting from the novel as well. And for me, you see a lot of the, not the actors, but a lot of the companies and directors I work with, they really feel the need to get these stories out, and because they're part of the heritage, they're part of the history, and you cannot delete that. You can't. How embarrassing some of the stories are for the white and the black community still at this moment. So it's interesting to be part of that process.